Marikana, the musical, officially opened at the South African State Theatre last week and will run until the 28th of August. The musical returns to mark the 10th anniversary of the tragic incident that took place in Marikana, where over 30 miners were killed. The play consists of a 40-member cast and a 13-piece band with leads from renowned actors such as Mishak Mavuso, Aubrey Bowe and Mpho Mckenzie Matome and many others. We speak now to some of these talents. Actress Siyasanga Papu, Mpho Mckenzie Matome, who is the co-musical director and lead cast member, as well as assistant director for the musical Tshepo Ratona. But before we speak to them, let's take a quick sneak preview of what you can expect before that take place. Let's look at the trailer quickly.
We want management to come here and speak to us.
If your leader can please step forward. Well, no one is going to shoot at you. We are here now.
Let's go there so that we can see them.
We must restore public order at Marikana.
Well, we now speak to some of these talents, including actress Siyasanga Papu, Mpho Mckenzie Matome, who is the co-musical director and lead cast member, as well as assistant director for the musical Tshepo Ratona. A very warm welcome to all three of our guests. Thank you for joining us on the Weekend Report this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
So, let's start with you, Tshepo. I mean, Marikana the musical returning after quite the hiatus, quite the break. I mean, talk to us about what that's like, what that feeling is like returning to the stage once more.
Well, it's been amazing. I mean, we were talking about it the other day that it's been 8 years of doing the production. So this time around, it's been interesting to see how the musical itself has matured with time, and we still have the principal cast members we had when we started this musical, and many of the youngsters who were part of the production when we started putting it together have now grown to become superstars. So it's been an interesting experience to see all of them come together again and understand and remembering the story that brought us to the stage in the first place. So it's been an amazing rehearsal to see all these brilliant superstars who've now grown coming back together again to bring this musical to life. It's for us, we always remember every time we get together that it's about commemorating the story. It's about remembering the fallen miners.
I mean, talking about superstars that have grown and evolved, Siyasanga, you are returning, playing the role, reprising the role of the Northwest Police Commissioner and the Marikana widow. I mean, talk to us about returning to those roles. There's been so much change and development since the tragedy itself. I mean, we're commemorating 10 years. Is there anything new that perhaps you might be bringing to the role as you return to the stage?
Yeah, look, when we first started the show, we were all much younger than we are, obviously. There was a lot of growth that has happened over a couple of years, and also a level of understanding. Like when it started, the emotions were much more raw, and now I guess there's a little bit of self-control, little containment when it comes to how you deliver your performance as an actor. I feel like we've grown all together as actors. I know actors that would not even stick to a monologue at a time when we were like 10 years younger. But now people have been given much more responsibility in the musical, and but we still are very much aware of the situation and where we come from and why the story is even there. And we're still loving having to tell it as well.
Well, you know, Tshepo, you gave such a firm nod when Siyasanga was talking about the much bigger roles and the responsibilities that you've now been given, you know, a couple of years down the line. Talk to us about that burden and that responsibility of telling the story of the Marikana tragedy, something that has been seared into the memories of so many South Africans, a tragedy, an event that is so topical, even to this day, the idea of police brutality. But just talk to us about, you know, how you're dealing with the responsibility of tackling that.
Well, we always approach it with as much respect as we think, you know, it deserves. We're always very cautious not to become too celebratory. I know it's song and dance, but every time we get on stage and we create this music and this dance, we always try to remember that we need to respect the story. We need to talk to everyone who was involved in the book from the beginning, the writing of this entire narrative, that we need to understand what's sensitive and what's not. And there's a lot of sensitive issues within the story itself. So we're always reminding everyone in the cast, the dancers, the musicians, that this is a very sensitive story. So it's always about keeping the notes and the dramatic moments and understanding that there's no creative license in a story like this. We just have to be as accurate as possible and treat every moment with the respect it deserves. And, you know, when we give bigger responsibilities to the cast, I mean, a lot of people have been with the musical longer. So when we build other moments, because we know it's been 10 years and we've learned other things about the story, we've understand there's been a new reality, that gap itself, that nothing has changed for the people of Marikana, nothing has changed for the miners. We always try to incorporate that and just build, modify roles and you know, just make them reflect what the situation is now, just so people can still relate to those sensitive moments that we treat in the story. So for us, it's that. We approach every beat in the musical with respect and understanding that these are people's lives that we're talking about. There are people who have gone down. These are people who remember the story. People who watch from at home are people who were directly affected by this tragedy. And you know, we don't want to ever offray from that, treating the story with sensitivity. And the cast and crew have been amazing in understanding that they know that this is a very sensitive story. So they've made
I want to ask you a similar question, you know, about the burden and the responsibility of bringing the story to the stage. But I think just in closing, I mean, this is, you know, the third iteration of Marikana the musical. There are people who watched it the first time it appeared on the stage. They came back again, and they're probably going to come back for the third time as well. What newness can they expect this time round, if any at all?
Well, it's correction first. It's the fourth. This is the fourth one, and then what they can expect about it's actually improvement. There is a lot of improvement, and I have also detected that a lot of us have also matured in terms of singing, and then a lot of the choreographers also, our band also has also like grown so much together. I mean, they've played this show for 4 years now. I mean, 4 seasons. This is the 4th season. And then to see them play like that, to me, it's like I know this is the pinnacle of what Marikana, the show, was meant to be from our directors.
Well, I want to thank all three of my guests for joining us. That was actress Siyasanga Papu, Mpho Mckenzie Matome, who is the co-musical director and lead cast member, as well as assistant director for the musical Tshepo Ratona, just helping us to have that discussion around Marikana the musical, which is returning to the State Theatre.